two mostly bald guys here. We're gonna walk you through installing the ICI RT step lights on your Magnum running boards. It'll be the same for pretty much all the vehicles. The only difference is locating your dome light wire in your vehicle to wire them to, so that when you open your door, the lights will come on your running board steps. We're doing it on Adams 2015 2500 Silverado. But like I said, as long as you've got these running boards, it's the same process. The only difference is you got to locate which wire is your dome light wire, or whatever wire you want to use that
comes on with your either key fob or when you open the door.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get to it.
So first things first, when you pull this wire out, lay it out on the floor. The shorter end is going to go to your driver's side 2 front steps, and then the longer side is going to go across your engine bay, wherever you have to run it across your engine bay. Then find a drop down point for it, and then it'll go to your passenger side steps. So on my truck, for the driver's side, this is the fender well right there, and I just dropped it right here, and then Blake laid down underneath here, and he grabbed a hold of it and he pulled it out of this little hole, and then we kind of just ran it to the back to just kind of measure it out. Now we're not going to hook anything up yet until we run this across the engine bay first, and then drop it on the passenger side, and then double check all lengths before we start running them through the inside of the running board and end up running into an issue. So let me run this over across my engine bay, and then I'll show you where I drop it down from my passenger side. Once you run it across your engine bay, preferably in one of these tubes if you can get to one, or anywhere you want, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do that right now, but I will do it. So what I did is I just ran it down along this valley, because it's not going to hurt nothing, and then dropped it down in between the battery tray, the frame, and the fender well. And then what I did to get it to drop down in between the fender well and the body was I just took a little screwdriver socket piece and I just electrical taped it to it so it had some weight. You can do this, or if you got fishing weight, whatever you might want to do it. Somebody once told me a coat hanger, run it back up and then tie it to the coat hanger. But anyways, now that you have that down, you have that run, all that's left for up here will be connecting this to the power supply, and then what Blake is getting ready to do is run the wiring down here. So let me crawl down there and show you what Blake is going to do. Okay, now I'm down here, and this is where the wire came out from the fender well over here.
All right. After we've got it run through the running board, then we'll make it nice and pretty up here and get it zip tied how it needs to be. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and run it through the running board, and we'll make it pretty later.
The video says ICI instructions say to just run it through these little welded in gussets.
It's in the back there.
It's in the back. And then you have 2 holes. You have this hole, or you have, where is it? It's hard to see down here.
It's here.
Yeah, okay. That hole. And that hole will allow you to drop the wire into the step. And once you do that, when you put this on, sorry, cameras everywhere. Once you put this on and bolt it down in place and you got your light stuck to it, you want the wire to go either this direction or this direction. I believe it would probably be better to go face towards the engine bay. I should really watch where I'm filming too. Sorry. Make sure this is facing towards the engine bay. Once you have it fastened to the bracket,
you're gonna take the longer wire
and keep feeding it through these gussets. These nice little welded in gussets right there. And then this one will go right here.
and then he'll run that into that hole back there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and run it into the back hole because the front hole is in front of the plate. So if I just run it in here, I don't feel like it'll have a whole lot of support, but there's more than plenty. But just very carefully stick it in there. Just keep feeding it. And then now it's in the hole. It's here. And you can go right to your light.
Alright, as you can see, we got the wires run down. I did have it in the first hole up there, but I didn't like how it looked, and eventually we're going to clean this up a little bit, add some electrical tape and a couple spots to hold it together. But we've got it run down through the gussets and into the back hole, and then we installed the brackets. This is how they'll sit. And there's this one. So now Adam's going to give me a light. Adam.
Huh.
I can see you over there sitting down.
Are you ready for me to peel it back off?
Yeah, go ahead and peel it back off.
And their pressure sensitive VHB by 3M is pressure sensitive tape. It's what GoPro uses for all their mounts. So anybody that's ever used a GoPro knows if you press down hard and kind of rotate it, rock it on all of its corners for around 30 seconds, it will stick and it will stay. And I'll also remember the contact patch where you are putting it needs to be as absolutely free of dust or anything. Otherwise, obviously, that will cause sticking issues.
As you can see, we got the lights mounted. And now we're going to go ahead and start connecting the wires. Alright, we're going ahead and doing the electrical. Since this electrical is outside and it's going to be in the elements, you're going to want to use heat shrink tubing. That way when you're done with all your connections, you can put that heat shrink over it and seal it up, and that way the elements don't get to it. But he's already got the tubing on the wire, and now he's making his connection there with his butt connector and connecting it to the light. And when he's done with that, we'll slide that heat shrink tubing over it, heat it up, it'll shrink to it. It's good and sealed. So we'll go ahead and make both of those connections, and then we'll do it on all the running boards and show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright, got them all heat shrinked and connected. Pull them taut. Like that. And then we'll go ahead and pull it up into the cabin, and that's where we'll store the excess wire or get rid of. And we'll make it pretty later. We're just basically showing you guys how to do it. But go ahead and get up there and get it connected.
Alright, so either the camera lost some footage or we were just busy working and forgot to film, but once you run your power wire through the firewall, on my truck, on this particular model, it ended up being the easiest to run it through right here, which is the hood latch release. And
point at it so they can see.
Can you see this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I know this kind of looks kind of crappy, but I'll clean it up. I'll trim it, and then I'll just put some like RVT black on there and then smooth it out, and you'll never know that it wasn't supposed to be there. And then what we did is we just kind of put this stuff up here for now to kind of get it out of the way, to make sure everything was good. And then like Blake said, when we were underneath the cab, because this isn't in the elements like the underneath the steps are, but heat shrink all these little butt connectors all the time. And then of course the kit was supplied with your fuse and a little dust cap cover. Oh, sorry, yeah. You want to see just a little 10 amp. And then, okay, so once you get your cables, once you get the cables run through the firewall, and then out here,
well, it comes up the wheel well.
Okay, once you do your wheel well stuff, and then
it comes up here, you make it nice and pretty. Make sure it clears your hood hinge, and then we've just got it, temporary for here now, and then we've got it run through the firewall down there, but we have our ground on
whatever that.
If you know what that is,
comment.
Let us know. We don't have a clue.
But it's a good body ground.
But yeah, Adam's going to show you inside here.
All right, so in the cab, the only thing that you're running through the firewall is a power wire. And right, oh, here it is your power wire, okay? And we have it running all the way up through there, and I know you can't really see that hole all the way in the back, but that's the only thing you need to come into the cab, and that's for the lights. So on your 2015, this gray wire right here is your dome light wire, okay? And this wire only has power to it when obviously the dome lights are on, or whatever, when you unlock your truck in the evening and you don't, or hell, I think all the time. Anytime you unlock the truck, I think that the dome lights kick on. And I think it's the same from 2014 to 16. I believe this is all the same. But obviously, plug this in is your correct supply. But what I want to show you now, and this will answer a ton of questions on how to do this for basically every single make and model car. I don't care if it's American or Japanese, because there's a lot of people I've seen on a lot of forums for trucks asking how to put like footwell lights and how to find your wire, and there's just no real good answer how to find the dome light wire. So we're gonna actually add this to the video, and I'm gonna show you how you know which wire is the wire for that. All right, so I'm gonna show everybody how to test to find the dome light wire. So get yourself a test light, good suitable ground, and make sure it's on there. And then, because if you can't, I don't know if it's gonna, it's probably not showing up on video, but the wire that this is plugged into is gray. But this wire right here, well, if you don't have really bright white light like this now, it's white, or it's white now with light. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This wire right here, where is it? I'm sorry, that I've got a little piece of electrical tape on, is actually solid gray too. And then there's another one that's gray with a black stripe just behind it. So there's 3 gray wires in this one. And then there's a handful of other, obviously, colored wires. But if you can get fairly close to where your dome light wire is, what you do, ground that, and then take this and stick it in one of the holes. All right, so when you get it here, you can test it. What you would do is just turn your dome lights on, and for the sake of this video, I didn't turn mine on, but I just wedged that up in there, And then if you want to test it, you can close your door and then lock your doors. And then see how it fades out, unlock everything, fades back in. And you can say, oh, okay, I've got the correct wire. That's how you're going to test for every, Jesus, I don't know how to operate anything. That's how you're going to test for whether it's for this truck, Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Honda, Toyota. And then that way you can do your footwell lights, or you could do your running board lights. But anything else you want to add to this, Blake? Seems I've just kind of rambled on for 5 minutes.
No.
Anyways, if you like the video, click the like button, hit subscribe. We've got a bunch more videos coming up. Any questions on this truck or just about the project, maybe you have a different car, comment down below and Blake or myself will answer back as soon as possible. And
don't forget to subscribe, and we see you next week.
bye.